We've got
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
And we spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit.
If you'd like to learn how to turn that content into profit, just go to contentisprofit.com. There's a surprise in there for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a wrong button. I always confuse it.
Yeah, you're lately confusing the buttons. What's up with that?
One's purple, the other one's pink, the pink one.
It's okay, guys. Today we are talking about the new and juicy exclusive content publishing framework that we are building live right now, actually.
Ooh, baby,
yes.
Let's go. I know. If you have been following our journey, please, I hope you are following the show, right, so far. Go ahead and follow, subscribe. Don't forget to support because we are bringing you incredible guests. And also, now I think we might be doing some more solo episodes by request of the audience.
We are doing more solo episodes.
That's right, guys. So go ahead and follow the show. Follow us on social media at BIZBROS Go because a ton of golden boulders go there. It's like distilled content, so juicy, right on your phones.
Absolutely. And please, if you find value in this, the one thing we ask for you to help us grow, right, for us to reach more people and impact more lives, please don't forget to share this podcast and leave a 5-star review. The reviews are key. So if you're enjoying this, if you enjoy having a good time with the bros here, please leave a 5-star review. Now, I wanna set the stage here real quick for what we're gonna be talking about today. So a fundamental part of our process, right, is creating what we call the content maps, these content frameworks, whether that is for ourselves or for our clients. So today what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be building live. Right now, this is happening live. This is true. If I slap my brother right now, you'll see his reaction.
I will feel it live, yeah.
But the idea is to build the next publishing framework that we're about to implement in our business, which is really cool. And we are going to give ourselves just 30 minutes, right? 30 or less? 25. 25 minutes to do it.
Yes.
We might not finish today. The idea is to finish it in 25 minutes. Why are we doing this now?
Well, there's a new stage in the business, FONZI, if you haven't noticed.
That, but also why are we doing it live?
Why are we doing it live? So we can actually do it and execute it.
Exactly.
So going back to our publishing story, right? Like remember, we had a ton of friction and we had like all these cameras and we had to do a bunch of post-production. This applies too on we started to understand the way that we operate, right? So we need to put a little bit of pressure so we can actually do these things. And today doing it live with you, bringing you along, creates a lot of positive pressure because we have to execute and get it done. Also, there's a little surprise. I mean, it might be coming soon. There might be an announcement here at the end of the show. We'll see if you are prepared for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, how will this benefit you on the other side? I will definitely recommend you to grab a piece of pen and paper because what we're going to walk through right now is something that will help you build your own publishing framework, right? Build that one content map that is just going to be pretty much the basis for what is going to become your modern media team.
So,
right?
Fonzie, before we actually dive into this, right? Like we've been talking a lot about frameworks.
Wait, timer. It's about to start.
I thought you started already.
No.
My goodness.
And it starts. It's running.
So it's now 22 minutes.
It's running.
It's running. Time frame. Okay, so we talked about frameworks a ton, right? Like when we first started the business, we had no frameworks. We had no structure whatsoever, right? And lately we've been geeking out. I feel like I've been geeking out more on frameworks.
Yeah, you geek out on frameworks more than me.
And it's because why? Because it makes my decision making a lot easier, right? I run a decision through a framework, which is kind of like a set kind of group of steps. Right? Yep. And if they don't fit those steps, then for me it's a yes or a no, right? So that to me has become very, very important because I tend to be the operator in the business, right, side of things. So it makes that decision making a lot easier. Now, when it comes to content, it gives us kind of like a base to start with. And then from there, we can start modifying different things. But a lot of things that happen, and we've seen this with a lot of our clients, is that they come in and they have kind of like an idea of what they want to produce, like from long form and into micro assets, but then the output is very confusing, right? They want to be everywhere all the time.
And it's because they lack what?
They lack what?
Yeah, they lack what?
That framework.
Exactly. Ding,
Let's
ding, ding.
go. Okay,
They lack their framework. Good job.
Thank you, man. I mean, these things that we talk about every day.
I was asking you a question to see if you were listening to yourself.
To myself. Oh, well, thank you, Fonzie. Anyways, so yeah, that's why people like their frameworks, right? Sometimes, we had a conversation with a designer this morning. We were working on one of the clients and this is the classic problem. The client doesn't really know what they want, right? And it's not that they don't know what they want. They have an idea, but at the same time, to be able to produce the content on a massive scale like we are doing, right? Yeah. We need a framework to make sure that we're efficient and so on. So that's why we created something called Content Map. And basically is that image visually on how that framework works, in our case, with Content Momentum on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Should we guide them through our own content map, kind of like the basis of how it looks like, so they can get an idea of what we're going to build right now?
Why not? So I'm going to do my best to describe it visually through audio. That's going to be a fun challenge. But if you want to know more, happy to jump on a call with us, Fonzie or myself, and we're happy to walk you through all the images in there.
Just slide in the DMs at BIZBROS on Facebook and Instagram.
So here's the framework that we utilize to produce more than 400 pieces of content across multiple platforms every single month. Also, while running a business and having a baby and having a wife and, being happy, right? Because I feel like...
None of those things were mine, guys. None of those things were mine.
Are you happy?
I got nothing.
I thought you were happy.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay, so here we go. So, you guys know the story where we try to leverage, the most out of those pieces of content. We started with ourselves first, and then we started implementing with amazing clients, right? That they were trying to get their time back, right? So I know you're seeing the timer, but I'm going to go fast. I'm going to go quick.
Yeah,
okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
TikTok.
So we go from a long form content into a ton of micro assets. How do they break down, right? We break down that micro content, our episode into 5 ideas. And then each of those ideas right under it, right? We have different formats of how that idea is presented on social media, right? Boom. Was that good?
That was a great explanation. Yeah.
So you're welcome.
That's on the top, the macro, right? Sitting on top, kind of like that pillar. And then the different ideas under that. And then under that, like you mentioned, each different format formats. Or different ways to present that idea.
Exactly.
Love it.
So what are those ideas? Those ideas can be either, in our case, either a teaser, right? That we promote the main episode, or it can be a full idea, which is like an idea that can stand alone on its own. So if I'm talking about what is sales, for example, and that piece lasts about 4 minutes, that will be a full idea, right?
It can be a quote, it can be a carousel, it can be an animation.
Exactly.
Each idea can be turned into multiple things.
And those ideas are based off of the marketing message and the audience that we want to attract. So when that's combined, week in, week out, we do it 3 times a week, for example. So we have 12 of those maps coming out every single month. Then we create this amazing web of points of contact that then get in touch with our audience.
Absolutely. I think that is a great point. And I'm going to play that little devil's advocate here. I think there's people maybe listening
to play devil's
or
advocate.
watching. Yeah, I like that. I like the objection side of things. My girlfriend would agree. Would be like, "Oh no, you're always against my ideas." I'm sorry, babe. Well, back to the topic.
Yeah, please.
Back to the topic.
Wow.
So there's people that might be saying like, "Well, but I don't produce a macro piece of content. I don't produce long form piece of content." It works actually the same if you're batching, because when you batch your content, what you're batching is you just go one layer under the macro and you're creating those small ideas individually.
I mean,
right?
we even have clients that they don't need the full 60 minutes, right? You can still create your own framework out of like a 10-minute video, a 5-minute video, right? Yeah. It's less ideas that you're going to be able to do, but also you can get creative and be like, okay, maybe if I have 2 ideas under that 10-minute video, then I can duplicate that piece of content with different headlines, and then we can try different things. So now it can get really, really fancy, right? But that's the main idea, right? That is the main idea on how we create that content consistently week after week, so on, right?
Correct.
But here's the thing. What's the thing, Fonzie?
I don't know what's the thing. What is the thing?
Here's the thing. We are ready to add a layer to that, right? So again, this has been one format of content which we absolutely adore. It will continue, so that won't stop.
And honestly, the new form that we're creating is, again, based on the content map is going to be a macro, right? Because we are believers on leveraging our time right? So we want to create that long form piece of content where we can leverage it and then get multiple assets that we can share across the internet like little minions that get you new clients, right?
That's right.
And amplify and help you amplify your message. Now, what is the new type of content that we're creating? Because it's not going to be a podcast per se.
No.
But what is it?
Yeah. So along this last year, right, BIZBROS and Content is Profit and Content Momentum has evolved to the point that we now have an amazing community next to us, which, thank you, Facebook group, Content is Profit. So if you want to be part of that community, just go to Content is Profit or go45.live. I think, is that still working, right?
Yes, Go45.live still working.
Go45.live, it will send you to the Facebook group, or you can find it on Content is Profit. Just type it on Facebook and it's going to send you there, right? But from there, we're wrapping up our season 3 of 45 Live now, and we're like, okay, what is the next stage? How can we create an engaging experience with our current members, also that educates them, it showcases what we do, and at the same time brings a ton of value for both parties, right? That perfect piece of content, like our friend Pablo loves to define it that way, right? So it got us thinking, right? And we got feedback from the audience, we got feedback from our clients, we got feedback from ourselves too, having this discussion. And now, Fonzie, what do we come up with?
We came up with the uncovering of content frameworks, right?
Ooh,
so the whole
baby.
idea of this interactive new long form piece of content is to actually sit down and pretty much act like a detective and try to discover what are the content frameworks of some of the best creators out there. And I'm going to tell you how this idea was born. And maybe, I don't know if it was born in a different way in your head, but this is under my perspective how it was born.
Sounds good.
I remember when we were talking with Chris Doe,
Yes.
that I was like fangirling hardcore, and I told him,
he could even ask like a real question. It was like,
and I asked him, Chris, I love how you publish. I love how you share your message. I love how you distill your ideas. You should totally make a course about this. You should totally make a course about how you lay down your content and you are everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? That is a really good idea, but I'm going to tell you this. If you go in my social medias, align the timelines, check everything that I posted, you might be able to discover my framework. And that just lit up a huge light bulb on top of my head. And I was like, man, that is such a good idea. What if we just don't do it with him, but we actually do it with other creators, right? And in my mind, I went immediately like, imagine if we have these content frameworks, then we can put them in under a database, right? We can even create an awesome monthly newsletter where we send these creators content frameworks that we have uncovered. So how do we start all this? The basis of all these crazy ideas that might happen or might not happen, but the content piece is happening, right? Is the uncovering of this content framework. So
before you continue, I want to highlight a little bit. You know, we often talk about the publishing pyramid. It's one of our keynotes. It's one of our trainings. If you want to find out more, let us know. Send us a DM. Hey, Luis, I want the publishing pyramid. But there's 4 stages there, right? And the very base, right, is the message. So here is where uncovering the content frameworks begin. That is the message. That is the one thing that we decided to explore, right? So right after that, it's like we got to decide on consistency, right? So where are we publishing? How often are we publishing? For the podcast, our consistency is 3 times a week. That's what we decided to do. It might change. It might not change. We'll see after we study the capacity, right? But for this consistency, how often are we trying to publish this new uncovering?
Yes. So for ours is our consistency. And I'm going to write this down as we speak, just so we make sure we have some good notes, right? And actually implement this. So the consistency for us is going to be once a week. We're going to do it. I think right now time is TBD, but probably on Fridays. Fridays set out like an hour and a half where we jump live either on StreamYard or Twitch. I think I like the idea of doing Twitch.
Oh, baby.
And the idea is for us to literally go on these different platforms where people are doing their posts, right? So let's use Chris Doe as an example. We're going to go on YouTube. We're going to go on his Instagram, Facebook, and try to line up all the pieces to figure out what is his content map, right?
Yeah.
Now, the idea is to do this live so we can get some interaction, right? If you want to hop in and ask us questions of what we're doing, why are we checking certain things, or if you have questions around your publishing framework, hop in there, ask the questions, and we get to interact and have fun and answer all the questions around content, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So just to walk through the process, right? We talked about in the publishing pyramid, the very base is the message. Our message for this new content framework and content map is going to be uncovering of content frameworks, right? So going back to those amazing publishers, so we could go to Chris Do, Logan Paul, Airrack, Mr. Beast. We can go to marketers.
We can go Russell Brunson,
baby. All right, we're going to start doing this request, right? And then we're going to do the
wait. If you have somebody in mind right now that you would like us to uncover their content framework, let us know in the comments below. I would love to know whose content you look up to and whose content you want to understand. How do they do it? Right? How do they get to publish all these pieces at these times? And we'll uncover and then give a rough estimate of probably, this is the type of team that they're using on the bag to do this, right? How can you replicate that on your business?
That's right. So, through that, obviously, how the macro is going to look like is going to be literally us going live and doing detective work with you guys together to find this out, find the links, find the dates, line them up and see how they create content on a macro level and then to a micro level, because that is so important. Well, how do they promote? Right? That's the other thing. Today I got a text from this YouTuber called Airrack, right? They're using that community tool to let people know when their video is going out because they want to build that pressure to be able to get those views and stuff like that. So we do something similar with the podcast.
How are they connecting their content to their profit? Of course, this is content profit, baby.
Yeah.
How are they connecting their content to their profit after they get all that content map, right? So for us, for example, all of our content tells you go to contentisprofit.com, and as you go there, that is a landing page that helps you go into our email list, and then you're in contact with us.
Yeah, so there's different stages, right? And I have it like in that whiteboard right here. That's kind of like an idea that came the other day. During your macro, right? Like if we do it, are you doing it live? Are you doing it recorded, right? Like it's one of the things. How do you actually publish that? For us, we do it live. This one is also going to do live, but there's a lot of people that pre-record it and then launch it, right? How do they do that, right? Is there a promotion aspect to it, right? There's people that promote it before, there's people that promote it after. How does it happen, right? Does that apply to you? And again, we're going to compare it to your capacity, so then you can take it in and be like, okay, what are the pieces that I can actually apply to my own content, to my own publishing? How much do we have left? 11 minutes.
11 minutes.
And then there's a post promotion. There's a post offer. What is the offer? Where are we sending people? What you're saying? How can we connect that content into profit? I love it because this is full circle on how we started and that story that we've talked about with the previous clients.
All right, so I like this because so far we've discussed our own publishing pyramid around the uncovering content frameworks show that we're going to start, right?
Yes.
Now, I want to dig into the framework that we're going to use to actually create this piece of content. What am I talking about?
Inside of the macro.
Exactly. So inside of the macro, what is the framework that we're going to use? And a lot of people miss this key part, right? For example, for our podcast, when we started, our framework was, let's use the Epiphany Bridge script as a framework for the conversation. So when we're repurposing, we know it's going to go from backstory to the wall.
Multi-purpose.
True. Slap me in the face. I said the forbidden word, which is repurposing. We don't repurpose here because if you repurpose, that means you are trying to give value to something that didn't have value in the first place, right? So we multi-purpose. That is right. Thank you so much.
From the very beginning, that's why we build in the framework inside of the macro, so we can multi-purpose later.
Exactly. Now, a quick look at how does our multi-purpose framework looks now for our podcast, right? First, we got the backstory. We always ask for the backstory. Then we always have a conversational piece of the podcast. And at the end of the podcast, if you've been listening, you know that we always ask for an action point and where would you be if you did not publish. So we divide our podcast in 4 main sections, right? Now, how are we going to divide this new uncovering content frameworks piece, right? What is the framework that we're going to use to discover other people's frameworks? Because that requires a framework, right?
Absolutely. So it requires a starting framework because this framework can evolve, right? Like Fonzie mentioned on the show that we started with the Epiphany Bridge, like framework or kind of guideline or script, right? Like, and then it started to evolve to the point that it was very optimized to the way that we run the show now. Because also what happens is whenever you have a team, whenever you start hiring that modern media team, right? That framework, they need to know so they can be effective at grabbing those ideas that resonate with your market, right? So they exactly know where to find a backstory, right? They know where to find the questions. They know where to find the publishing question, right? And that's really important to your team because that way you guys can be very effective with your communication and the way that you distribute as well. So again, our starting framework for this, I know you have pretty good ideas. I have kind of like an idea.
Yeah. So, I mean,
the
whole idea of this is to bounce it around and see where we land with this.
So we gotta first see like how do we operate, right? Like me personally, I'm better operating on like let's get it out. Like clearly this episode right now.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes left, so we gotta get it out quick.
Yeah, so get it out as in start publishing, right? And then optimize it. So in my head, my idea that you mentioned too is like, okay, we jump on live, we start sharing some screens, right? Either the iPad, the computer, we go through the social media channels of the first thing and get like a rough estimate on how they're publishing, right? Where's their macro? Is there Instagram post?
So
is it Facebook?
that is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. What is the framework to discover their framework? That's what I'm talking about right now. So
that's why I'm breaking it down.
So what is the first question, the first thing that we would need to look? Step one. Do they do
where are they publishing? Are they doing macro or no, not doing macro?
Or batching, pretty much, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so one, macro or batching. I like this. I like where we're going. Ooh. Then when we discover whether they're macro or batching, should we look at where they post or should that come before deciding whether it's a macro?
Well, if there's a macro, we gotta find out where are they publishing that macro. If it's a YouTube, right, specific, or is it a video podcast, right? Because those are the two most popular macros, right?
So I think then the step number one would be to pull out all their active social medias or all their active places that they're publishing.
Okay,
that's number one, right?
Me like it.
So active places. And we're writing this down. So if you are listening with us right now, feel free to write the idea down. We're putting it a list, literally like a bullet point, so we can follow step by step while we're doing it. Of course, once we start, this is probably going to be like, maybe this step should go here and this other step should go at the top. And we're going to fix the framework as we go. But this is a rough first part, first framework. So first, active places, publish. And then we're gonna check if it's if they do macro or batching, and then we're gonna see where are they publishing their macro, right? I think we should look at
locations. Yeah, location first. So active places, macro versus batching, right? And then locations, which are distribution channels.
Yeah, like where do they distribute the macro? Mm-hmm. All right, where do they distribute the macro and dates? And get the dates. I think we should put this is what I'm imagining right now. Having a calendar open where we can put, they posted on Facebook here, they posted on YouTube in this date. And then see, all right, the week after they posted their pillar content is full of repurposed content.
Multi-purpose content. FONZI, come on, get it right, bro. Get it right.
It's like a bad habit.
I know, it's a bad habit.
It like give me the chills.
It's horrible, man. It's like saying Voldemort.
I know, it is like saying Voldemort. All right, so are they posting their multi-purpose content the week after or the week leading to, right? But I think once we can see it in the calendar, that is going to help us a lot. So I think after checking where's their macro piece, what we can do is by platform that they publish, lay down the pieces that they're putting. So for example, from Monday to Friday, each day it's a post on Facebook. We put Facebook. And then they also post something on Instagram. Any other day we go Instagram. So we're going to pretty much come out with a calendar full of the way they publish. What do you think about that?
I'm thinking logistics, but yeah, let's go with it.
Yeah. I mean, logistics-wise, how does that look? It could be on a piece of paper, honestly.
I mean, yeah. Or it could be my awesome slides. No. I was going to say my awesome slide skills, man. That's what I do every single day.
Yeah. No, I think it would be great to do it on a whiteboard type of thing. I think that would be great. Okay. All right, cool. So I'm going to put here, next step is calendar. Calendar layout.
Sounds good.
How much time do we got?
4 minutes.
4 minutes, right? So after the calendar layout, we should have a pretty good look on their distribution, right? Will that allow us to pull together the content map?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Easy peasy.
So then assemble content map. I'm going to put it here.
Sounds good.
Assemble content map is step number 4. Awesome. And then what? What do we do after we assemble the content map?
Now we draw the content map. We bring a little bit of awareness and be like, hey, here's how we started. We started this macro. Here are the exact pieces that are coming out of that. Here's how they publish those pieces every single day. Because normally the conversation that we have with our clients is like, okay, how is this actually, you're giving us that macro piece, right? We're creating this content map for you, which are all the micro assets with the intent of multi-purposing through different distribution channels, right? And then it's like, where do those pieces go? Like, when are we publishing those pieces, right? Are those promotion for before the show, right? Are those promotion for after the show?
Yep.
Are those evergreen assets? Are those paid ad assets, right? So that's a conversation that we have with every single client. And here's the flow, right? Like, we're pulling up the curtain and we have 2 minutes, right? So basically, conversation. Where is your macro piece of content? All right, from this macro piece of content, we have to work on the messaging, the structure inside of that piece, right? Then from those, we create those ideas, basically. Let's say 5 ideas, right? And then we create for different outlets. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, who publishes Snapchat still. Okay. And then from there, we're like, okay, how do we actually distribute these pieces, right? Those are the pieces of information that we're going to do it. The way that we're going to do it on this show is backwards, right? We're going to start seeing the top, right?
We're going to start seeing the distribution.
We're going to start seeing the distribution first, and then we're going to work our way back to that macro piece, to that internal structure.
So then in here, we put step number 2 was to determine whether it was a macro or batching. So step number 6 is confirm
hypothesis.
Confirm the hypothesis of whether it's a macro or a batching, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is confirm macro or batching. I like this. I like where we're going. And then
got a minute left, Fonzie.
A minute left. So we see all the active places. We make a hypothesis, macro or batching. Then we lay out everything on the calendar. We need to figure out the time frames that's going to be inside of the calendar. So, because some people might have a 2-week time frame promoting a specific type of content. Some people like us is super fast paced, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Then we go to assemble the whole content map after we got everything laid out in the calendar, put the pieces together like a little nice puzzle that your wife loves doing, right? And then
or Lego, like everybody does.
Or Legos, yeah, we go. You love doing Legos. Or and then after we assemble the content map, we kind of like bring awareness to it. We reflect on what we did. Hey, does this make sense? What they're doing, and we use our Sherlock Holmes or Sherlock Holmes abilities to pretty much determine whether a hypothesis was correct on how they use their macro or their batching.
Ooh, baby.
And after that, what we do is we just package it. We're going to package it beautifully, and we're going to put it somewhere where you guys are going to have access to that. And you might be able to get all of this that we're doing in that amazing, incredible way that you can just literally hand it to your team and they can execute.
And be like, here's the thing that I want from my awesome video.
I want to publish like Chris Do. Here it goes, the Chris Do content framework. Modern Media Team, baby.
Let's
execute.
Go. By the way, if you don't have a Modern Media Team, give us a call. That's exactly what we do. Let us know how much timer. Okay, sweet. Yes. Oh, I mean, we did it right on time. That's perfect. We cannot talk more about this.
Yeah, we cannot talk more about that.
We got it done.
Yep.
But anyways, Modern Media Teams, if you have an idea, if you have an idea on the content framework, you're pretty sure, hey, this is exactly what I want. We are actually doing this because we've seen the necessity of a lot of people trying to put those frameworks into action, right? And that's basically how you're going to be able to scale your content, get those appointments, get those conversations. We talk a lot about content conversations. How do we leverage the platform, right? How can you come up to an amazing dream guest and be like, hey, by the way, we're going to be publishing for the next 2 months about you, right? Imagine getting to Russell or Chris Doe or somebody or Todd Brown, people that we've had on the show, that's one of the pieces that have allowed us to leverage and have conversations with them. Russell, by the way, the invite still stands.
Yeah, hopefully coming soon.
Coming soon, baby. But everybody else has been on the show. So again, if you want that, if you have any questions around that, let us know. Slide into those DMs and let's set up a quick call.
At BIZBROS Co. on Facebook and Instagram. You gotta lead. Slide in the DMs. Where are the DMs? You gotta tell them.
Good. I was seeing if you were like awake. I'm doing that. Thank you, FONZI.
I like this. We came up with a solid foundation as a framework so we can start executing the uncovering content frameworks. This sounds like a show that could be in Discovery Channel, honestly.
Discovery Channel?
Yeah, uncovering content frameworks.
Yeah. Well, for now, it's going to
Discovery Channel.
Okay. For now, it's going to be in our Facebook group. Content is Profit on Facebook. Go check it out. The link, go45.live, still active. That might change. So go to Facebook and go to Content is Profit. And you're going to see us there. Apparently, every Friday now. So TBD.
Yeah, we don't know yet when is going to be the first Friday that we're going to execute it, but we're going to put the goal that is going to be in the next month.
Oh yeah, it's coming soon.
Yeah, probably in the next 2 weeks. We might be jumping and doing one.
I know,
but I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great piece of content information that is going to help everybody involved. I mean, we're going to have a blast uncovering the truth behind these genius content strategies.
Are they actually geniuses?
Are they? I don't know.
Maybe it's a super random framework that they're like, let's just put it out there, right?
That is the thing. I think.
Oh, babe, it's going to be so good.
That is the thing. I think we're going to come across people that we're going to run through this framework and then we're going to be like, they're just creating for the sake of creating.
It's like completely random.
Yeah, they might have 0 to none frameworks. That's going to be interesting to see.
That's going to be fun to discover.
I know. And then we should just call them and be like, hey, man, do you need help?
We're happy to do it. All right. Today was fun.
That was a lot of fun. We definitely need to do more solo episodes. That was great.
I know.
Solo but together.
Solo but together, writing.
Yes.
All right, here we go. All right. Is that it, FONZI?
I think that's it.
We kept it on 30 minutes. That was so good.
Yes, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah,
Are you excited for uncovering content frameworks? And also let us know, who do you want us to uncover, right? The content frameworks.
Uncover.
I'm so excited. I think we should start with the people from the list of Content is Profit that we've had.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah, from our podcast, throw them under the bus real quick, see what they got. And then we can go with recommendations as well. We're excited, guys. We're excited. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's do it now. Okay, with that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button and follow us on social media at BIZBROS Co.
That is right. And if you find this episode impactful and you're ready for uncovering content frameworks, then don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
Bye, guys.